I'm Emily from Mac-Talla Tutoring, and today I am going to give you a quick talk through on how to do a bow exercise, which I personally have found really helpful for improving my bow hands, making sure my pinky stays bent and my thumb stays in the right place, and just really helping to kind of relax your hand to let your fingers adjust while you're playing. So we're going to start with holding your bow. If you have a spare bow that isn't the one that you use all the time, then I would recommend using it. Even better if you've got one like I've got, which isn't actually usable as a bow anymore. It's got no winder, yada yada. So this is my bow exercise bow, just because you don't want to touch the hairs of a normal bow if you can manage it. And we're going to be doing some strange things further down the bow. So if you've got a spare, great. If not, don't worry, just be mindful that you don't want to hold the hairs or anything if you can avoid it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is find the balance point of your bow. So you may already know exactly where it is. It's actually a really useful thing to know. If you have not ever looked into it, then maybe pause the video, give yourself a minute and have a play. So you see it's usually about a third of the way from your frog. And it should be a point at which you can perfectly balance the bow and it stays really even. This is the point at which your bow has the least weight, and where your maneuvers that we're about to try will be the easiest. So once you've found your bow, your balance point, then I want you to hold your bow at that point as if you would normally hold it at the frog. So just to give you a quick recap, we'll start with our thumb bent. You want the top of your thumb touching the underneath and the front of your thumb bent towards the hairs. We're then going to flop our two middle fingers over in front of your thumb. Your pinky is going to go nice and bent here and your other finger quite relaxed. Okay, so from the side, we're looking for a nice curve and a curve. More curves equals less tension. Okay, so this is our starting point. And what we're going to do is straighten your pinky. So the key here is to keep the rest of your hand and your arm still. The movement's not coming from your wrist, it's coming from your fingers. Okay, until you can get your pinky all the way straight and the bow as high up as you can go. You're then going to bring it back down. And your pinky is going to pretty much fold in on itself up here, and this finger is going to be a lot straighter. So some things to watch out for while you're doing this. None of your fingers should lift up. Don't want any of this, or everything stays firmly just kind of sticking. So you're not gripping it, it's just, imagine your hands are a bit sticky, which I suppose maybe they are. Just kind of chilling, doing nothing, just let friction do its thing. If it helps to think about a swivel point, it's kind of the back of these fingers. The movement's coming from these 3 points, but these are just like the glue that's holding your bow in your hand. So that if you lift them off, then the boat temptation is that you're going to end up with the bow trying to go this way. Okay? The other thing to watch out for is when you're holding it higher up, it sometimes feels like you need to hold it like this, with your fingers coming onto the top of the stick. So it's really important that only your pinky is on top of the stick. Everything else is flopped over. Again, just to give you that better grounding and stop the bow flying forward. Okay, so I'll show you this again. We're going to go for a really slow and controlled movement. So don't just let gravity do this and wobble all over the place. Really slow it down. Straighten your pinky as much as you can. And then slowly bring it back so that the other finger is straight. Okay, you want this to move in a straight line. Different ways of thinking about it. If you imagine that you're doing this against a wall, then this is going to stay completely flat on this plane, or you're drawing a straight line with the tip of your bow. Whatever helps you think about. We don't want any of this movement. Just really slow and straight. Okay. If and when you feel really comfortable doing that, try shifting it down just ever so slightly. The closer to the heel you get, the more weight there is in the bow and the harder it is. Don't start down here because you will strain the outside of your hand. It's like weightlifting, you've got to really build up to it. The movement is more important than the weight. So just get comfortable at the balance point for now. If you aren't quite sure if the movement is coming from your wrist or your arm, you know, sometimes this feels, you're just not quite sure, then you can try either resting your hand on your leg and doing it off the edge of your knee, or if I just bring you around here, you can do it off the edge of a table. So if you put your hand here so that just your fingers are off the edge of the board here, and that means that you can easily do your exercise and know for a fact that none of the movement is coming from your wrist because your whole wrist is on the table. Okay, so I am just going to show you this movement once more now that we've gone through it all from a few different angles. So hard to do it in the air, but I'll give it a best shot. So making sure all fingers are nice and straight. You're gonna straighten your pinky. And then notice that none of my other fingers are needing to lift off, okay? And then I will try showing you from the side. Bear with me, it's quite difficult to do it at this angle. It's good practice for me too. So we've got a nice rounded shape at neutral position. We're then going to straighten that. Thumb stays bent though. And then bring it all the way up. So my arm and my wrist aren't needing to move at all. Okay, lastly I'll show you from the side. So that's it. Okay, so just remember you're starting fingers flopped, hand relaxed, at right angles to your bow. You want a nice slow movement, gradually building up to the full range of movement before you try moving any further down the bow. All right, I think that about covers this bow exercise. If you found it useful, then feel free to subscribe to the channel because I'll be doing a few different bow exercises soon. And any questions at all, just drop us a message or put a comment below. All right, thank you for watching.